If somebody is inquiring, if somebody is in your audience, if somebody is coming to your events, if somebody is there, you can take the opportunity to invite them, and they don't have to comply. They don't have to agree. They don't have to buy, but don't miss out on the opportunity because of this hyper independence wound that's lying to you.
Welcome to Did I Stutter with Jill Perrick. And yeah, I probably did because I have a stuttering disability. But I'm also a multiple six-figure business and mindset coach who's here to help you shut down the mindfuckery of imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and playing the nice girl in your content so you and your brand can blow the fuck up and so you can stack the motherfucking cash. I'm holding absolutely nothing back. We're talking marketing, messaging, mindset, subconscious healing, nervous system regulation, and how to do it all even with raging anxiety, ADHD, and just being a fucking human. If fuck is one of your favorite words and nothing can get in between you, your iced coffee, or the work that you're here to do, I'm your girl. Let's dive in.
It's actually so funny when people find out that I have been with my husband since I was 15 years old. We met in grade 9, high school, and we started dating in grade 9, and we truly have never broken up. There was a time, I think in grade 11, where we were on a hiatus for like 3 days or something, and then we were like, nope, that doesn't work for us, and we got back together. But like, we truly have been together for that long, and we're only 34. It's actually my husband's birthday on Wednesday, but we're only 34. So whenever somebody hears like it's going to be 20 years next year, they're like, holy shit, that's crazy. But here's why a lot of people say to me that that's crazy, okay? Because I am the most hyper independent bitch you will ever meet. And I'm a child who is in a 3-kid family, and I'm the, you guessed it, middle child. I'm also the eldest daughter. And it was just something that I have always been. And I don't know if it's because of my stutter. I don't know if it's because of people-pleasing tendencies, all of the things, right? But I just developed this feeling of like, I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I don't want anyone to feel like I am bothering them or I need them. So again, this is interesting because I've been with my husband for a long time, but I noticed that this hyper independence was really manifesting itself into our relationship, I would say in like my mid-20s, because I also grew up in a family where I had my mom and I had my dad, and my dad worked 2 jobs, and my mom technically did work 2 jobs because she worked a full-time job and then she did all the domestic work. She did all the domestic work. She did the majority of the child rearing. And I have a great dad. He was very involved, but there was definitely an uneven dynamic when it came to parenting. And seeing that, I went over on the spectrum of being like, okay, well, this is normal, but not clocking it as this is actually abnormal and it just feels normal to you because that's how you were raised. But then I was kind of like, nobody is going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do everything I need to do to survive, to keep myself safe, to make money, to achieve my dreams. I've always been insane. So I've always been getting degrees, and in between getting degrees, I would get certifications. Like, I've always had something that I have been working on. And it started to become this dynamic of like, I don't need you. Like, I remember, this is crazy, but I remember almost telling myself in my like early 20s, if something were to happen to my husband, at that time, he was not my husband, he was not my fiance. If something happened to him, like, I would be okay. And now I think back on that and I would be okay, but in a different way. Back then it was like protection. I don't need anybody. And if I actually kind of like distance myself from needing somebody, then I can't be hurt. And I will clock this pattern that I have. Now, I did a lot of therapy and a lot of work on it. And now I'm just a little baby. And my husband takes care of me. Like, he feeds me. He delivers food to me all the time. Like, I fully do need him as a partner, as the future father to my children. Like, I do need him, and I do want to need him. So this hyper independence, though, of course, I'm just telling you about how it followed me into adulthood and into my relationship. But what I didn't realize is how it would follow me into sales and how it would follow me into business, right? Because as I started to sell, as I started to, put myself out there more, it was so easy to like create content, but I had this block, and it would usually turn into me being friend zoned or me friend zoning other people in terms of like having them see me as like just a friend. I would be like, ooh, this person would be a really good fit to be a client. And then I would like be on their podcast, or I would just like start like chatting with them in the DMs, and it would be totally platonic. And it's hard to explain, but when you like quote unquote meet people online and you're like, ooh, like we have like a friendship vibe right now. Okay. And it was the discomfort that I had around being an authority or being somebody that somebody would pay. And I was able to connect this back to this hyper independence of like, I felt like making an offer or making a pitch is imposing on people instead of giving them a chance to step into the work that they want to do. And it's funny because we all start our businesses and then we like almost act offended that we have to sell. Like we're expecting clients to drop out of thin air. And I have a lot of clients who have come to me who like they're doing all the things, but they're actually fucking terrified if somebody were to reach out to them. If somebody actually were to be like, yeah, like I want to work with you for a year. And like even clients who have lots of clients or who have signed clients before, they get nervous if they think about like charging more, or they get nervous when they think about, oh, like this person is going to sign on for a year. Like I have a one-to-one package for a year. What would it look like to work with somebody for an entire year? Like what would be required of me, blah, blah, blah. So how they react to that is by not wanting to impose on anybody because it protects themselves. It protects themselves from rejection, from being exposed, from being embarrassed. At the core of it, you don't want to ask anyone for anything, but your hyper independence is why you're not making more money, right? This wound of not wanting to be seen, asking for something is exactly why you're not making more money. Because if instead you reframed it as, first of all, this hyper independent shit is so useful in a lot of different ways. Like if you are a woman that takes care of shit, amazing. I love that for you. And there are parts where you need to see that like your hyper independence is actually blocking you from making fuck tons of money. And this is still something that I clock. I still have to catch it and be like, oh, I'm being very hyper independent right now. I'm being very like, they don't need me, I don't need them, all good, right? And I have to clock it and be like, ooh, I'm afraid to be seen asking for the sale. As an example, about a year ago, I really started doing smaller micro offers to give clients a chance to first teach something specific, and secondly, to teach something specific to the clients that I'm working with, and also to invite new people into my world, and they can see me teach and they can see all these things, and like it will eventually turn into a sale. And I am not attached to how long that takes, but always I take the opportunity to sell during a smaller offer. And a big part of me knew that consciously and also was kind of like, ooh, I don't want to do that. I already asked them to pay $22, $33, $88 for this offer. Why would I ask them now to listen to me pitch? And it was something I had to really get over and really see through in terms of like, I am not asking for anything. You are inviting people to take the next step, and everyone has autonomy. And I think this is also like something I've seen in the online space too, is like people really complaining about, I spent this amount and I spent this amount and I joined this mastermind and they took my money and blah, 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 blah. And like, unless you were actually legitimately scammed in which somebody took your money and you didn't get what was delivered to you, this is not for you. But if you are somebody who has invested in an experience and it was not what you imagined, I told this story multiple times last year, but in 2024, near the tail end of 2024, I invested in this coach, and it took me a very long time because it didn't work out. There were a lot of logistics behind it. It really tore down my confidence. I felt a lot of shame about that situation. But around the actual sales piece, was she pushy? Yes. Was she good at sales? Yes. Was there a victim part of me that wanted to believe that I was like manipulated into spending the money that I spent? Yes. And I still have to look at that situation. And this is also a circumstance where if I would have continued, I would have gotten what I was delivered. But I have to sit with the fact that that is so victimy and it's not going to change anything. To believe that somebody forced my hand in spending the money that I have, that can't happen. Somebody has to make the decision. And yeah, you can be a people pleaser and you can be like, oh, like they made me hand over the credit card on the phone. No, they didn't. And you have to take full responsibility. So you have to take that away. And I think maybe if I'm now just like connecting the dots, I think sometimes people believe that their autonomy is taken away because they're more passive or they're more of a people pleaser. So like they think if it can happen to them, they can do it to other people. So it's kind of like, oh, I'm afraid to like manipulate someone into the sale. Nobody here that is listening to this audio would ever dream of manipulating somebody into a sale. Never, ever, ever. And I feel so strongly about that. So you also have to remember that. You have to remember that like you can't take away somebody else's autonomy to work with you. They want to work with you. They want to work with you. If somebody is inquiring, if somebody is in your audience, if somebody is coming to your events, if somebody is there, you can take the opportunity to invite them and they don't have to comply. They don't have to agree. They don't have to buy, but don't miss out on the opportunity because of this hyper independence wound that's lying to you. It's lying to you that like, okay, you don't need anybody. So why would you go out and ask for anything? And that's what sales can feel like. It can feel like an ask. It can feel like an imposition, but sales are an invitation. Sales are an opportunity. And if you think about clean sales that you've had where like you had a conversation with somebody and you were on fire and you felt so good about it and you were excited, like you can be nervous if somebody buys your coaching or sends you a DM. Absolutely. You can be nervous about that, but just ground back into the fact that like they're excited to work with you. They want to do this work with you. And they're not even fucking thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. They're thinking about the results that they can get. They're thinking about the new version of themselves that they're going to become. They're thinking about themselves and what they're going to get out of it. And especially when it comes to coaching, it's like you also have to have the awareness that like you're going to do something. You're going to be an active participant as a client in the process of working with a coach. So that's how I want you to see sales. And I want you to really examine for yourself as well. Like, where has this hyper independence been so useful for me? And if you need to journal on it, cool. But where has this hyper independence like really worked for me? And how can I also see where it is not working for me when it comes to the business? Ask yourself that question and then ask yourself, how can I change this? Because I can almost guarantee that this is a big block to you receiving more, creating more, and being willing to ask for more from the universe and from your audience and from the people who actually want to do this work with you.